the earth that cries out the truth, where the Bible comes alive before your eyes. Have you ever wondered if the stories that shape the faith of billions are more than just ancient pages? What if every word, every prophecy, every event narrated in the Bible could be proven by tangible evidence, hidden in the sands of time? Imagine stepping on the same sacred ground where giants of faith walked, or touching the stones that witnessed miracles and decisions that changed the destiny of humanity. Could it be that what you heard in childhood, what you skimmed through, has a depth and reality you never imagined? Do you dare to question? Do you dare to doubt? For ages, the Bible has been the beacon, the guide, the promise for billions. But what if I told you that the words you've read, the stories you've heard, are not just echoes of a distant past? What if they were indelible marks etched into the very earth, waiting to be rediscovered, touched, felt? What if each of these marks cried out, loud and clear, a truth that can shake the foundations of your perception? Prepare yourself, because today we're going far beyond the pages. We're going to step on the sacred ground where faith became history and history became faith. You won't just see ruins, but you'll witness concrete, irrefutable proofs that the Bible is more than a book. It's a map, a living testament, an invitation to an understanding that will shake your soul. Every stone, every valley, every ancient city has a story to tell, and that story, dear viewer, is the truth. Many have tried to discredit it, disqualify it, relegate it to the realm of myth, but the excavators dig and the centuries reveal. And what emerges from the sands of time are the most impressive validations. Are you ready to see your faith come alive in a way you never imagined? Are you ready for, wow, to become the soundtrack of your mind? Stay with us, because the journey to truth begins now. Jerusalem, the pulsating heart of sacred history and the echo of salvation. There is no place on earth like Jerusalem. It is a gravitational center of biblical history, a city that breeds prophecy and fulfills promises. But don't think of it just as a tourist destination. Think of Jerusalem as a living organism whose subterranean veins and ancient scars hold secrets that, once revealed, will transform the way you read the scriptures. Join us as we delve into the depths of the city of David, where the air is humid and the echo of your footsteps reverberates like voices from the past. There, beneath the surface, you will find Hezekiah's tunnel, a marvel of engineering nearly 3 millennia old, excavated by 2 teams who started at opposite ends and met in the middle, a monumental feat for its time. Its existence is not legend. It is a historical fact recorded in 2 Kings 20 and 2 Chronicles 32, 3 to the 4 and 30. King Hezekiah, surrounded by Sennacherib's Assyrian army, did not surrender. He trusted in God, but also acted wisely, ensuring his city had water. Imagine the terror of the thirsty inhabitants of Jerusalem, surrounded. Their faith was being tested to the limit. But the tunnel, a proof of their diligence and active faith, saved them. This makes us ask, in our own sieges of life, when anxiety suffocates us and resources seem to run out, where do we place our trust? In despair, or in the providence that enables us to build our own tunnels of faith and resilience? Walking through that narrow tunnel in the darkness, with water up to our ankles, is not just a tourist trip. It's a living metaphor for our faith journey, where the light seems distant, but provision is always flowing. Emerging from the darkness of the tunnel, we come into the light, to the pool of Siloam, once a place of ritual purification. It became the stage for one of Jesus' most touching miracles. He found a man born blind, spat on the ground, made mud with his saliva, and anointed the blind man's eyes, commanding, "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam," John 9, 1 to the 7. The blind man's obedience, the implicit faith in that seemingly simple act, resulted in his healing. How much simplicity there is in Jesus' commandments. How many times do we complicate faith, seeking elaborate formulas, when the answer lies in an act of simple but radical obedience? That blind man did not question the mud. He did not doubt the water. He simply obeyed. And us? What are the muds we need to apply? The waters we need to immerse ourselves in, even if we don't fully understand, so that our eyes may be opened. The pool of Siloam reminds us that faith is not about understanding everything, but about trusting and acting, and that the deepest healing often begins with a step of obedience that seems illogical, but reveals the glory of God. Wow! Faith asks us to wash what is dirty to see what is divine. Near the sheep gate in Jerusalem lie the ruins of the pool of Bethesda. For 38 years, a paralytic man waited there. It was believed that an angel stirred the waters, and the first to enter would be healed. John 5, 1-9. 38 years of waiting, of frustrated hope, of seeing others healed while he remained immobile. But Jesus saw him, and Jesus' question echoes through the centuries. Do you want to get well? Do you want to get well? This question, so simple, yet so profound, is an invitation. How many diseases do we carry for years? Bitterness, resentment, addictions, fears, waiting for a miracle water that never comes, or blaming the crowd for preventing us from reaching it. Jesus did not ask, can you get into the water? But, do you want to be healed? This reveals that true healing begins with a genuine desire for change, with the surrender of our inertia, of our comfort zone in illness. Bethesda is a poignant reminder that Jesus does not just heal the body, he frees the soul from the paralysis of hopelessness and victimhood. The question still echoes for each of us. Wow, this question is a mirror for our own willingness to change. Jerusalem is an open book. Every stone proves the veracity of the Scriptures. Visiting Jerusalem is more than a trip. It is a soul-stirring pilgrimage. It is understanding that faith is not an abstraction, but a living reality. Galilee, the stage of the Christian Revolution. To the north, the serenity of the Sea of Galilee. But this lake was the epicenter of a revolution. Here Jesus chose his first disciples and performed miracles. In these waters, Jesus calmed the storm, Mark 4, 35-41, and walked on them, Matthew 14, 22-33. In our life storms, he is in the boat. His power is not limited. He invites us to walk on the waters of faith. Wow! Walking on water is an invitation to total surrender. On its shores, the ruins of Capernaum, the city of Jesus, where he taught and healed. Yet, despite so many miracles, the city did not repent. Matthew 11, 23-24. How much grace is given to us, and how much of it do we squander? Capernaum is a memorial to human freedom to reject the light, even when it shines brightly. Wow! Grace can be rejected, and that is a heavy burden for the soul. Humble Nazareth, the city of Jesus' childhood, an unassuming place, John 1:46, chosen by God. The choice of Nazareth reveals divine humility. God finds the extraordinary in the ordinary. We don't need to be great to be the birthplace of something grand. Wow! The most important story in history began in the most insignificant place. Galilee is the stage of Jesus' humanity, where the divine met the earthly. Visiting Galilee is feeling the closeness of Christ, understanding that he comprehends our struggles. The pillars of the Old Testament, where the promise was etched in stone. The ancient city of Jericho, one of the oldest settlements. The fall of its walls of Jericho, Joshua 6, is one of the most spectacular and debated events. The mound reveals evidence of destruction and fallen walls. Jericho is a lesson in radical obedience. Human logic is limited, but God's power is limitless. God often asks us for what seems senseless, so that the glory may be his. Wow! God knocks down our giants with our knees bent. In the desert Mount Sinai, here God descended in fire and thunder to deliver the 10 Commandments to Moses, Exodus 19:20. Sinai was a deafening shout of holiness. It reminds us that true freedom is obedience to the laws of a good God. Wow! The fire of God holiness can be frightening, but it is in it that we find true freedom. From the holiness of Sinai to the fallen majesty of Babylon, capital of a powerful and arrogant empire, here Daniel and his friends challenge idolatry. Babylon symbolizes human glory without God. It warns us every empire, every vanity that opposes God will one day fall. Wow! The greatest empires of man crumble, like dust before God's eternity. In Mesopotamian lands, Nineveh, the Assyrian capital. To this city, Jonah was sent, and it repented. Book of Jonah. The story of Jonah and Nineveh is a radical demonstration of God's universal mercy. He seeks the salvation of all, even of enemies. Wow! God's compassion is so vast that he loves even those we consider enemies. Returning to the beginning, you are of the Chaldees, Abraham's hometown. From here, God called him to leave everything and begin a journey of faith, Genesis 11:27 and 12:5. You are in Abraham, are the prototype of the call to radical faith, leaving the known for the promised. The beginning of a great story of faith starts with a courageous decision to leave the familiar. Wow! The greatest act of faith in history began with a man who left everything. In the Jezreel Valley, Megiddo, the scene of many battles. Mentioned in Revelation as Armageddon, the site of the final battle, Revelation 16:16. The reflection that evokes awe. Megiddo is a symbol of the struggle between good and evil, but also of God's definitive victory. It invites us to fix our eyes on the promise of future peace. Wow! Megiddo's millennial battles point us to the certainty of a final victory. The footsteps of the apostles, spreading the good news, from the raw force of empires to the overwhelming power of the gospel. Caesarea Maritima was the Roman capital of Judea. Here, Peter opened the doors of the Gentiles, Acts 10, and Paul was imprisoned, defending his faith before kings, Acts 23:26. The gospel is not confined to ghettos. It expands, challenging cultural and social barriers. Wow! The gospel breaks all barriers, going from dark alleys to imperial palaces. In Turkey, Antioch of Syria, here followers of Jesus were called Christians, Acts 11:26. It was a starting point of Paul's missions, Acts 13:1-5. Antioch, a cosmopolitan center, was the birthplace of a vibrant and missionary church. It reminds us that Christianity is an inclusive movement for all nations. Wow! The church was born to go beyond its walls. In the Aegean Sea, the island of Patmos, to there the Apostle John was exiled, where he received the visions of Revelation, Revelation 1:9. The reflection that shakes. Patmos teaches us that God can speak in any circumstance, even in isolation and adversity. The most powerful revelation in the Bible came in his moment of greatest vulnerability. Wow! The book of hope was written in a place of pain and exile. In Damascus, the street called Straight. It was on this street that Saul, a persecutor of Christians, was led blind after his encounter with Jesus. There he regained his sight, becoming Paul. The street called Straight is the epicenter of radical conversion. No one is beyond the reach of God's transforming grace. Wow! The street of an enemy became the stage for the greatest transformation of faith. The silent warning, Sodom and Gomorrah, a final warning. Sodom and Gomorrah, cities of great iniquity, destroyed by fire, Genesis 18-19. Most impactful is that they don't have a confirmed physical location. This absence is the most powerful proof, symbolizing complete annihilation. It's a grim reminder of the seriousness of sin and the consequences of continuous rejection of divine justice. Wow! The absence is the most impactful proof. Divine judgment is real and complete. The on-site visit, where faith meets reality. Each of these locations is a profound invitation for transformative reflection. Visiting these landmarks, stepping on the same ground, touching the same stones, is a pilgrimage of the soul. It's seeing faith not as an abstraction, but as a tangible reality, where the divine met the human. Your doubts will be confronted by the evidence. It's as if the earth itself whispers, I was there. The Bible is real. What will you do with this truth? Will you let it be just information, or will you allow it to ignite your heart, inspiring your journey and redefining your understanding of what it means to believe? The Bible isn't just history. It's a guide for your present, validated by the very stones of time. By seeing these places, by feeling the weight of history and the presence of the sacred, you'll not only understand more about the Bible, but about yourself. And perhaps you too will find an encounter that will shake your soul, leading you to a faith that will make you say, wow, the Bible is, in fact, the living truth. You witnessed it, you felt it, and perhaps like us, you said, wow. From the depths of Jerusalem, where every stone whispers salvation, to the imposing peaks of Sinai, where God spoke with fire, from a vastness of Sea of Galilee, a stage for miracles, to the imposing ruins of empires that once defied heaven. Today, we don't just read stories. We touch the truth. We have seen archaeology and history bow down, confirming that the Bible is, in fact, the living and authentic Word of God who reveals himself on earth. Your perception has been shaken. Your faith, I hope, has been strengthened. This journey was not just about places, but about the irrefutable confirmation that what we believe is real, palpable, and etched into the very fabric of time. It is proof that faith is not blind, but rather based on facts that echo through millennia. Now, if this video impacted you, if it drew a profound wow from you, then leave your like. This is your vote of confidence, and it helps us bring this truth to many more people who long to see faith come alive. Share this video with friends and family, with those who doubt, with those seeking truth, and with those who need to have this revelation. Spread this light. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to not miss any of our upcoming expeditions. Join our community of faith and history explorers, where with each video, we uncover a new secret, a new proof that will make you say, wow, once again. And of course, we want to hear from you. What was the most impactful reflection for you? Which wow resonated most strongly in your soul? Leave your comment below. Your experience is part of this great discovery, and your voice matters to us.